What's up, everyone? How are we all doing? So, I've been asked to do a Montale sort of gloss over. Now, I don't have a great lot of Montales really, but what I do want to particularly talk about today are two Montale fragrances that are relatively new, one newer than the other, but one especially, I mean, both of them don't get enough love, but one especially is getting no chat out there at all. I mean, like zero. I couldn't even find a video on YouTube about it. And I think it's criminal. So let's gloss over the ones that a couple of you will already know about. One of them in particular, I don't even think it's worth speaking about, but we will anyway. A subscriber request. Give me a breakdown of your Montale, so I'm going to do that. But the two in particular, we'll save them for last. Okay, let's talk about this guy. Everyone knows him or her. And this isn't actually mine, believe it or not. This belongs to the missus. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's too feminine for me to wear, but it's hers. It's her fragrance, so. And it's beautiful. I do love smelling it on her. It's rather sexy, but now this room's gonna smell like Arabians Tonka for 11 to 7 years. Because if you're not aware, this bad boy is nuclear. Now, this, I just want to address this, by the way, and it's worth you knowing. It's some vital information for you guys out there, especially if you like niche fragrances. Now, this and two others on here were actually purchased from a website. Now, I'm getting no kickbacks for this. No, there's no affiliation links down below. I will link the website. This is purely for your benefit. If you do like niche fragrances and you want to save yourself a bit of money, more than a bit of money on some certain ones, especially, get to Scent Shot. Right, Scent Shot. Now, they actually offer decants as well, which is vital, isn't it, really? You know, if you're anything like me and you live rural or semi-rural and you're not in a city, you don't have the benefit of going into any of the big department stores and smelling all the new niche fragrances. You know, you're kind of stuck, aren't you? But with Scent Shot, they offer various sizes of decants at a very, very reasonable price, I may add. And you know, if you already know what it smells like and you just want to pull the trigger, that's fine. But I think that's a vital service they offer. And I've got something to tell you about the site as well. Now, if you spend over £150, they'll send you Christian Louboutin or Louboutin discovery set, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I think that, yeah, 11 2ml samples. Now, they don't actually sell these on the site, I don't think. I didn't see them on there unless they're added as a sale item now. But I checked it out at Harvey Nichols, and it's a £55 discovery set. So get the Scent Shot if you want. If you're wanting some niche fragrances, check them out. You know, evaluate the prices, see if it's worth your while. I'm betting it will be, because there's some really good savings on there. And yeah, like I say, no affiliate links, I've got no codes for you guys. You know, you'll go there, spend your money, and the guys at Scent Shot won't even know that I've recommended you. So it's no benefit to me. But definitely check them out. And like I say, if you spend over £150, they'll sling you one of these. Is it Louboutin? I'm sure it's Louboutin, isn't it? Christian Louboutin discovery sets. Yeah, Arabians Tonka. What can I say about it, really? You know, most of you already know exactly what it's about. Saffron, Oud, absolute power bomb. You know, it's really nice in the air. People liken it to, you know, other things like MFK's Baccarat Rouge 540 and stuff, but yeah, there's similarities there, isn't there? But this thing's a beast on its own. Sticky, jammy rose, really sweet. There's dustiness from the tonka bean. I mean, Arabians Tonka, it's a surprise there's tonka bean in there. Yeah, it's like a dustiness from that. But the saffron combined with the sweet jammy rose and the punch of the oud, it's lovely. Really, really nice. Like I say, a lot of fellas wear it, and I'm not saying that it's too femme, but belongs to the missus, so this is hers. 14 hours performance, like pretty much guaranteed, unless you've got the driest, ashiest skin in the world. It's a room filler, really is, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so popular. But anyway, Arabians Tonka. I might as well go over the other one that belongs to the missus while I'm at it. Ristretto Intense Café. Now, you'll have smelt Intense Café, and if you haven't, it's the clues in the name. It's an intense coffee fragrance, but the coffee's not the star of the show with that one. It's the rose, really. But with this, it is. Now you still get I would liken it to a dry rose, like, you know, like dried rose petals, like that sort of smell initially. But once the sweetness from like the vanilla turns up and it sweetens it up, and the once dry sort of, you know, potpourri sort of florally scent, it transforms into a more of a sweet florally scent. But, you know, lashings of coffee with it, it's like, I think it's got this sort of like a caramelly sort of nuance with it as well, like it, you know, like a toffee kind of. It's not, I wouldn't call it like an espresso sort of cafe aroma. It's more like a latte, but a strong one. You know what I mean? There's definitely like a sort of lactonic smell with it. Beastly performance again, or, you know, I don't think I can think of a Montale that doesn't perform really, really well. If you guys can think of one, then list it down below. But yeah, this is very feminine in my opinion. I wouldn't wear this, but you guys rock whatever you want to rock. If you know, if you're a guy that likes wearing feminine fragrances, you do you, and be happy about it. You know, don't let anybody tell you you can't wear what you want when it comes to fragrances. But me, I just can't vibe with it, if you know what I mean. Like, it just doesn't gel with me and my personality. But yeah, it's lovely, absolutely beautiful. She doesn't wear this enough, actually. You know, I had this in the air the other day, you know, sort of like familiarizing myself with the fragrance before doing this review, and I said to her, you know, why don't you wear this more often? Because it's really, really nice. Yeah, so you ladies out there, if you want to check that out, honestly, if you've either had your nose on Intense Café and you didn't think it was enough coffee, or it was too much rose, because there's a sort of a trade-off with this. You know, I think the rose is dialed back a bit and the coffee's like ramped up, and it is a better performer as well. So yeah, Ristretto Intense Café. Now, the Montale sort of roundup request was done by a male subscriber, and he could have been wanting to wear that, but I said that I would go over the ones that I've got in my collection. And Oud Tobacco, a very misleading name. You look at the note breakdown. You look at the note breakdown and you'll see that there's Oud and tobacco listed in it. But there isn't. Well, there is. Like, you can get, there's none of that like really smoky like tobacco that you would expect in certain other fragrances, tobacco, like heavy fragrances. But I suppose there's maybe like a sweet, dry tobacco leaf. But it's like, it's very strange. Like I say, it's a very confused fragrance. You don't get much of the oud really. You get a little bit in the dry down, like the typical Montale / Mancera, you know, clean, like medicinal sort of oud, or of a Western sort of oud. But it's not. That's not the start of the show either. It's very, very, very strange. It opens up with a couple of citruses, and there's some. I think there's some tonka bean in there, and that might actually help what I described there as the tobacco to come across as a bit dusty, because tonka bean's like a powdery sweetness, isn't it? But there's incense in here, and you would think, you know, all right, so they've added tonka bean. It's made the tobacco come across dusty. Let's add some incense to actually make it smoky and a bit more identifiable as tobacco. It doesn't come across smoky either. The incense is listed, but I think it melds with the overall sweetness of the tobacco, and it gives it more of like a, I don't know, like a balsamic sort of resinous kind of feel about it. Like, I'm not saying that people can be easily fooled, can't they? And you'll pick up a fragrance called Oud Tobacco, and you'll spray it and you'll wear it, and you'll think, because you think it's in there when you smell these things. Sometimes you can be like, oh yeah, I can smell the tobacco, I can smell the oud. But I've got to dig my nose in deep to be able to pick out, like, that's tobacco, you know. But maybe it's just me, and maybe some of the other notes are actually more dominant in my nose. But now I've got that out of the way, I just want to say it's a bloody fantastic fragrance. It is. It's really nice. The way that it wears, I think there's the way that the oud and the tobacco cord like sort of end up together, like in the dry down. It just reminds me of, like, it's very strange. It just reminds me of like a resinous wood, you know, a touch smoky, but you know, like nothing that you would think, oh, this is a smoky fragrance, you know. But yeah, even though Oud Tobacco is a bit misleading, definitely get your nose on it. It's really, really nice. As I said, you know, if I don't mention performance about any of these fragrances, it's not the weak, you know. It's a pretty much a given that Montale and Mancera, you know, they're really good performers. So the only time I'll really mention performance is if it's, you know, uncharacteristically weak. But yeah, not a problem with performance. Really good sillage as well. You know, you can smell where you've been. Really good. I've got a little decant here. I've never had actual full presentation bottle of it. A couple of these decants, and with having a large collection, it can take you a long time to get through 10, 15, 20 mil, whatever. So, you know, I think once this runs out, I like this enough that I will get one. Honey Aoud. Some of you will already be aware of this because it's got a lot of love in the community. Now, honey and oud is pretty much, you know, in there, self-explanatory. But what you're really gonna notice it for, because I don't get a honey like really, really strong. I think the honey blends with the vanilla and the cinnamon to create this overall sweet, spicy sort of, you know, really quite edible sort of accord. You know, all together, those three notes, they all open up together, and I like it. I like it a lot. There's some florals in here too, and along with the oud in the base, there's some leather and some amber as well. It's not a very diversive scent in the respect that, you know, the opening to the mid to the dry down is a little bit linear. You get pretty much everything all at once, I think. Obviously the base notes come to the forefront a little bit more as it dries, but you do pretty much get everything all at once, which is really nice. Another beast mode performer, as I said, you know. I think everything I've mentioned up till now is, apart from the Oud Tobacco. The Oud Tobacco you could get away with almost all year round. I wouldn't wear it on a hot summer day, but you'd definitely be able to wear it on a warm summer night. Arabians Tonka, I wouldn't wear that. I wouldn't wear that when it's warm. I wouldn't anyway. And that's also really strong and quite heavy and cloying. So, you know, these three are very, very suitable for this time of year that we're about to experience, autumn. In fact, the next two I'm about to talk about, you could also get away with those in autumn. But yeah, honey Aoud, beautiful honey with cinnamon and vanilla, backed up with the leather and the oud and some florals and the amber. Like I say, big small performer. So the two fragrances that I had an initial motivation to do this video before there was a subscriber request are these two, which I got from ScentShot, the site I mentioned earlier. Now we've got Oud Island and Infinity. Now, there already is a little bit of love about this. You'll find some videos and reviews out there already. Now, if you like cherry fragrances, you're gonna love this. Also, I don't know if you guys have experienced this before with any of the recent Montales, and I don't know if there's a particular line within the collection that are doing this, but we all know you get a bag in the boxer for the bottle. This one though, velvety one, not a typical cheap, shiny, you know, fake looking silk sort of plasticky thing. This is leather? Leather. like a velvet sort of fabric. Makes it look a bit more high end. Anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. Yeah, so cherry frag, that's what it is. It says plum as well in the top, but I don't really get much plum. I don't get much plum at all. I've been spraying things all day today. I've been testing out some Sahara fragrances. Spoiler alert. Yeah, but with Infinity, I don't know if the plum is there to support the black cherry to make it juicier, because you can't pick out the plum on its own. But the cherry is sweet. Now, there's saffron in here. It's not gonna smell like Arabians Tonka, but the saffron in here is identical to the saffron in that, and that's no big surprise really. They're from the same house, but it might, you know, give you a little bit of a flashback of Arabians Tonka. Just look at the oil on that, man. Like, so when you heard of Parfum, I think they lie. That's honestly right. This is why I'm telling you guys about these two. Like, I know I just glossed over those other four, but I've been wearing these lately, and they're so good, man. Honestly, both of them, and they're quite different as well. But we'll get to that in a sec. So this, what you're going to get with this is the black cherry and the plum in the opening, combined with the saffron to give you that, like, you know, you've got the really strong cherry, and it is like there's no mistake in it, but combined with the saffron, like, I think the plum's there to make the other two notes there in the top a bit just juicier and sweeter, but as a whole, guys, honestly, man, like, so good, so nice. And then you've got like powdery tonka in the mid. There's tobacco and leather there as well, and it's like the vanilla along with the tonka bean. It's like there's a powdery sweetness combined with that leather. It makes it soft, more like suede. It's just, honestly, I mean, I'm not really smelling much of that yet. It takes a little bit to get into the mid, but you know, the tonka bean and the vanilla combined with the soft leather and the tobacco, oh, it's just a beautiful scent. And the top notes are still around pretty much for the duration of the fragrance. They do obviously soften out, dial back a little bit, but they're there present as the mid turns up, and everything together backed up with the signature oud in the base. It's just, honestly, like, I'm trying to paint you a good enough picture of how this smells, but can't put it into words. Honestly, absolutely love this. Now, we know all Montale fragrances are considered unisex. Now, I think this one leans a little bit masculine. Ladies could definitely get away with rocking this, like, honestly, so damn good. The cherry in this is not like an obnoxious, like, in your face, cough syrupy kind of thing that I've experienced with some other far more expensive fragrances. Tom Ford, for example. You don't get that. You don't get that here. It's fruity. It's just beautiful. Anyway, again, projection, longevity, sillage, not a problem. Now, Oud Island, on the other hand, very different. Now, it's when I break down these notes, you're going to think it shares a lot of similarities with Infinity, but it doesn't. The blend's completely different. It opens up this like a summer holiday. There's the citruses in the top, along with like solar notes. And if you're not aware of what solar notes smell like, there's two different camps of solar notes. You've got the ones that smell like sun lotion, and you've got the ones that smell a bit more ozonic, and they're just a bit more bright and outside kind of smell. Now, this is in the camp of the sun lotion. Some people say it's aquatic. You know, you look on Fragrantica and that, and people say, oh, it's aquatic. I don't necessarily think it's aquatic. I think the solar notes combined with the citruses, making them think of the beach maybe, and I don't know, that's maybe where the mind's going. But I'll tell you what this does smell a bit like. If you've tried Black Gold from Mancera, it's like that, only, in my opinion, brighter. The solar notes probably make it a little bit creamier as well, you know. As I said, you've got the citrus and the fruity florals in the top. The florals in this are like a powdery white floral, and it sort of helps out in the top, and the leather's sort of softened by it too, that powderiness that comes with the florals. And then it then goes into tobacco. You see how I said about leather and tobacco? It goes into tobacco and oud in the base. And this one's more masculine than Infinity, in my opinion. A woman could wear it, no problem. You definitely get that solar notes. It's really quite prominent in this, you know. And if you've smelled 1 million Parfum, I've got it down here somewhere. Is that it? Great. It's just the cover for my light. The magnetic. Yeah. 1 million Parfum. Now that opens up like 1 million. Doesn't stay around very long though. And then you've got a quite similar sort of solar note that you'll find in this. But the reason I reach for that then is because I find them to be quite similar in a few other ways as well. Obviously, if you've worn 1 million Parfum before, you'll know that it's actual beast. It lasts forever and smells really good. But the solar notes are identical to the solar notes in this. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to really bring Montale Infinity and Oud Island to your attention, because I really don't think they're getting enough love, and you should really try them out, because in my opinion they're two of the best from the house. They really are, and for very different reasons. You know, you got your sweetness, your gourmand facets, and your a really well balanced overall fragrance that changes as it dries, but yet it's still got the same overall character from beginning to end. It's beautiful. And this one is a bit more diverse. Even though that solar notes in the opening, it does carry the way through the fragrance. As you wear it, you really you're not aware of the oud until you've bought it for quite some time, and then by that time the solar notes have actually dialed back a bit and it becomes a different scent altogether. But yeah, both brilliant, honestly. Can't recommend them enough. Infinity and Oud Island. As I said, guys, if you do shop for niche fragrances, don't forget to check out Scentshot. Just me recommending a site, doing you a favour. I'm getting no kickbacks from it. And if you're still watching these videos and you haven't subscribed yet, I mean, totally your choice, but it would really help me out if you did. Just right down there, click the subscribe. It's completely free. And don't forget to like the content and get involved in the comments as well. You know, list your favorites from Montale. Have you tried any of the ones that are featured today? And if you have, what's your thoughts on them? So anyways, until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then.